hold on.
Perfetto.
Do you hear us well?
I have a problem with my headphones.
Okay.
Okay. If you are okay, we can start.
It's good, hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me normally?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Okay, just the sound, I have a problem. Okay, can you talk?
Okay, Nico.
Do you hear us well now?
2 seconds.
Okay.
Even 3, that's not a problem.
I think it's good. Okay.
Okay. Well. Hi, Nico. Welcome
Hello.
to Florence International Radio, and thank you for agreeing to give us this interview.
Thank you.
I am Vlad, and with me there is my colleague and friend Simon Ciarlantini.
Hello.
Hello, Nicola.
Hello.
You have the same name of my best friend, so
okay.
Nicola is, and the pronunciation of my name it's French. It's Simon. It's not Simon.
Si. Yeah.
I'm half Croatian, half Italian. It's a very pleasure to meet you.
Okay, very pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Well, if we are ready, let's start with the questions.
Maybe I can try to fix my camera. It's too low. Maybe.
No, you look good. You look good.
It's okay.
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 Thank you.
Perfect. Well, Nico, I think that I have some thing in common with you.
Okay.
I also think I don't belong to this world.
Mm-hmm.
I frequent cemeteries at night. I love the dark, and I hate humanity.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So far, I haven't killed anyone, but the future is always full of surprise. Never, mai dire mai, never say never.
Never say never, like the James Bond movie. Yeah.
This is why I asked you to interview, to get to know yourself better.
Thank you. Okay.
And to understand your evolution from childhood to the present day.
Okay.
This is my first question for you.
See.
Today, you are a successful writer and artist. You say the art, especially painting, helped you channel your negative energies.
Mm-hmm.
How did this process happen inside you? And what about this journey make today's Nicholas different from yesterday's?
I started to paint when I was in prison, and it was people who wrote to me from the USA who would write serial killers and celebrity criminals because they collect signatures and artwork. And some of them asked me if I did artwork for their collection. And I said, okay, let's try. And I painted graveyards. Mm-hmm. And at first it was very bad, very crude. And then I learned more and more and more, painting more and more and more. And I decided to try portraits of serial killers. And at first also it was kind of bad, but with time and practice, because this is the only thing you have to do in prison, I started to get better. And I think that people like my paintings, and this is why it became something for me to channel my energy.
Well. You became passionate about painting when you were in prison.
Yes.
When you were arrested, how did you feel in that moment?
In the moment when I was arrested, didn't know what to expect for the future because I didn't know what they had against me, basically. If they had been following me for long or what, or okay. So the first few weeks and the first few months, it was interrogations by the judge, by the police, by all the people involved in the criminal case. And me on my side, I had to evaluate how to respond to those interviews. There are elements from the police search when they searched my house, so they found a few things, and I had to give them answers to the things that they found. And when I understood that it was they had a specific case against me, I decided to channel my energy by working on this, just this, and try to justify the things that I did in a logical way for the psychiatrists.
Mhm.
Because the problem for a personality like me, the real diagnosis is antisocial personality disorder. And this is not something that you can cure with psychotherapy. It's impossible to cure. What can be cured is what they call schizoid personality disorder, which is a temporary act of madness, if you will, in a mental state which is temporary and which can be cured with medication. So my focus was to explain to the psychiatrist that I was suffering from this when I committed the crime, so that later, when I would go on trial, the jury would understand that I was not hopeless, that I could be cured with medication and psychotherapy. That was the main focus during the 4 years, because it lasted 4 years, the instruction of my file with all the psychiatrists, assessments, etc. And during those 4 years, it was my focus to, push forward this image of being somebody who could be redempted or reformed by prison.
Excuse me, Tiziana. Moreover, and how did you felt when they said that you have killed more than one people, and it was declared that it wasn't true? But how did you felt in that moment?
Yeah, I was. It was the press, the French press, who said that in the beginning, because there was similar cases when the same month when this thing happened. So yeah, I had to think a lot, and I had to think about answers, and of course, given the things that they found in my apartment, I wasn't sure about the outcome of all this, but at the end of the day, they focused on this case, and it was good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thanks. Nico, you declared that you were a lonely and taciturn child who always felt different.
Mm-hmm.
What does your diversity consist of?
I think it's plenty of different things. My parents were very cold and distant with me, so I did not have a normal relationship with parents. Because even children would suffer from extreme bad treatment from their parents. There's some kind of bond with their parents still, because there's even if the parents mistreat them, there's a love-hate relationship with them. But for me, there was nothing. So indifference, and that's very different for a child to feel indifference and to only live indifference around him than feel hate or feel love or feel emotions. So when there's a lack of emotion from the start, the growing up is extremely different, and it's one of the small cocktails of an antisocial personality. It's the lack of emotions. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Well, another questions. Each of us as our own demons.
Yeah.
But not everyone admits it. Who are your demons? And how do you manage them?
My demons, I have an obsession with everything that is macabre. And the problem with me compared to other kids who become like involved in gothic culture, for example, or Satanism or black metal or horror movies or things like that. For me, the problem is that with this obsession, there was also elements of social personality and extreme violence. So, and sadism. So when you have all those elements mixed, it's a very extremely dangerous cocktail, if you want. So it was, I think, unique in my case, and also from a very early age, because I was born in 1972. And back then there was no internet, no communication, nothing, etc. It was just books. But from an early age, I was exposed to books through my father, who was very into ethnology. I was exposed to books on ethnology and scarifications and blood rituals and demons and possession, etc. So he was specialized in Africa. So it was mostly voodoo, but in those books they would also talk about European witchcraft and things like that. And I saw very early, I was 7 or 8 years old, I saw pictures of people covered in blood with scarifications and things like that. And it was, for me, it's the only the moments in my life where I felt interested in something. I was not interested in sports, football, or things that other kids were interested in. But when I saw pictures like that, I was, it made me feel something.
Okay, thanks.
Very
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, Nicola, obviously, thank you for all your answers, because for us they are very interesting, because as Tiziana said in the beginning, for us it's very important to understand your mind, to try to understand the phenomena that we usually speak in our lives, in our live sessions. Thank you very much for this.
As an author and as a publisher, this is why I publish all those books about serial killers and the minds of serial killers, because I have a perspective that is different from journalists, from psychiatrists, from cops. So I can tell exactly what goes on in the mind of a serial killer. Plus, I talked when I was in prison with 5 different serial killers who were in prison with me, and when a criminal talks to another criminal, there is no filter, there is no censorship, there is nothing. So they tell you the truth. They tell you really what's going on in their mind.
You don't put that shelter that usually it's normal if people that that can understand, because they haven't lived your experience. So,
and they also talk about their fantasies, which they will never talk to with a psychiatrist or journalist, because in their mind, even if they are condemned to 20 years, 30 years of prison or life in prison, in their mind, they still believe there is the possibility that one day they will be released. So, of course, they want to be very clean, very normal,
of course.
But when they talk to you face to face, they tell you all their fantasies and all the things they did and all the things that the cops didn't find too, which is interesting.
Okay. So, my questions. Then, studies on necrophilia say that it often results from contact with a corpse at a very young age, and it's deeply linked to a sort of a fascination with the funeral event. From your story, we know that this event is the death of your grandfather. So, can you please describe to us how this event gave rise to the fascination for death in you?
I would say I had it before because I was interested in all the horror movies from Hammer movies with Christopher Lee, etc., and the Dracula movies. Each time there was a scene in a graveyard, I was very interested in them. And also, when I was a child, I asked a lot of questions to my parents about death and what happens after death. But yeah, when my grandfather died, I went to the funeral wake, and I felt an atmosphere that really I thought really appeasing and peaceful, and at the same time there was this huge mystery. And since I was not taught religion by my parents, who were atheists, most of them, my grandparents too were atheists. It's a long family generation of atheists in my family. I was not taught about the mysteries of life and death. So for them, it was very scientific. When you die, that's it. But me, I was more interested in what happens to the dead body after they die. And this is why I became interested in the jobs that imply working with dead people. So from an early age, I was interested in, I saw myself in the future as an embalmer or somebody who worked with dead people.
Okay, thank you very much. Always about necrophilia. Those studies also speak of a form of melancholy, understood as a state of mind in which a profound sadness reigns, and it's characterized by a deep sense of loss, nostalgia, and introspection. Do you reflect yourself in all this? And moreover, have you ever thought about your grandfather in the coffin during your acts of necrophilia or during the period of your fantasies before you realize them?
So the word itself refers to a sexual activity, and I was not interested in that. So I was not at all interested in that aspect. Me, for more the aesthetics. And when I was stealing things from the graves, it was bones. So yes, I have an aesthetic interest in skulls. I like skulls. I like the shape of skulls and how they look, and the different. There's not one skull that looks like the other, if you will. And I still now I often visit ossuaries when I go to Italy, for example. There's a very beautiful ossuaries in Verona, and there's this chapel in Milano, and all those magnificent places in Italy, and Switzerland too has a lot of ossuaries. So this is the kind of places that I like to go to. And melancholia, yeah, I wouldn't say that I feel that. My mother was clinically affected by melancholia, and melancholia in the clinical sense, it means suicidal. So I never felt that for me, and I've never felt clinically depressed. So I cannot relate to that. I cannot relate to this feeling of sadness. And me, I've had always a will to power. It's the will to go beyond and go beyond and go in a Nietzschean way, if you want, to the limits of your humanity, and go beyond your humanity and reach something beyond in a predatory way, like a predator, if you will, and rise above humanity. And later on, when I practiced cannibalism in the morgue, I saw people in the subway or in the streets, etc., as food. Anymore. Yeah, food.
Like a supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. I would look at them, their shape, etc., and I would say, yeah, this one would taste good, this one no. So this reflects a certain way of thinking that's totally different from clinical depression and things like that. Yeah.
Thank you again for this answer. It was very clear. Speaking a little bit of serial killers, an argument that you know very well. Usually, the childhoods of many serial killers present traumatic situations linked to dysfunctional families. But it's not always the truth. For example, the case of Dennis Rader, it's well known about this. You are not a serial killer, but I've noticed that you have one aspect in common with BTK. You both described your mothers as physically present, but not emotionally. So you believe that this family situation can create profound imbalances in a young mind?
Yes, it's all the things that serial killers have in common. There's one trait, it's the antisocial personality disorder. There is not one serial killer, even the motives is different. If you take Aileen Wuornos, whose motive was money and revenge, she said revenge, but revenge was just an excuse. The real motive was money for Aileen Wuornos. And if you take people with completely different motives, like Peter Sutcliffe, who thought that he had a mission to kill sex workers, so he thought that he was a missionary type of killer. Or if you take a completely psychotic serial killer like Richard Chase, who believed that he heard voices, etc. Of course, there's different differences in the personality, but the main thread that ties them all together is the anti-social personality diagnostic, and you cannot escape them. All serial killers are sociopaths. There is not one, and of all the ones I studied, there is not a single one who was not a sociopath. Now there's the several degrees in sociopathy. There was an American researcher, I can't remember his name, but he had a degree of evil according to serial killers. For example, for him, Jeffrey Dahmer was much less evil than somebody like David Parker Ray, who was a sadistic torturer. Because Dahmer, you just wanted to put them down, have them drink something that put them unconscious, and then you would, cut them up, strangle them, etc. But he was not looking for torture or humiliation or domination or, prolonged torture. He wanted it to be quick so he could have his way with the body. So for his degree of sociopathy was different from a degree of sociopathy of somebody like Parker Ray or Gary Heinick, who were torture killers, who are on the top scale of evil, if you will. So but all those killers have in common the antisocial personality trait. That's a fact.
But what you say is very interesting, because when you study this type of minds, this thing you said, it's not always so subscribed. How can I say? I think you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to hear it from you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Speaking always about another serial killer, with Ed Gein, you have in common that you use the bones to decorate your apartment.
Yes.
But unlike him, however, you used parts from people who were already dead, and you not killed them. But my question is, why didn't you take any of these souvenirs in your only murder? And above all, why didn't you taste your only victim's meat?
It was a question of the time. The intent was to effectively take things and bring them home, etc. But when I committed the murder, I heard footsteps outside the apartment. So I have to make things. I had brought tools. I had brought scalpels and things like that, and trash bags, so that I could actually do it. But I didn't have time. I had to leave the apartment really quickly. But in my mind, the next one would have been, it would have been take more time with it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was very curious about it, and I've heard a lot of your interviews, and I don't think that you have said it before. So thank you very much. Tiziana, please go on with other questions.
Thank you, Simon. Well, Nico, you have often talked about wanting to kill more people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you didn't become a serial killer because you were stopped in your first murder, or is there something else?
Oh no, it's just because I was stopped, because I was planning on doing other things. So it was just because I was stopped. Because for me, I didn't think rationally back then, maybe, and I didn't really take precautions and things like that. So I was in a spiral. Also, I was in a state of mind where my mind was going in 10,000 directions at the same time. So I was not really focused. And but at the same time, I was focused enough to look for people and you know, be in that kind of mind frame. I also wanted to kill my coworkers. I had many different plans and many different things, and those things they started when I was 12. I've always wanted to kill the people around me, in school, in university, in the army. Every time it was always the same. And even when I got out, there was still that in me. I worked in a hospital for 15 years with a fake name. And after a while, I wanted to kill my coworkers. I couldn't stand them anymore. And for me, the only answer to get rid of a problem is violence. So this is why I'm better working myself as a publisher with nobody else to deal with. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thinking about your house and what it contains,
yeah.
Can you tell us something about its sensations and thoughts about the possibility of never seeing the fruits of the activity in which you have made us participate again?
I did not really understand the question. About my house in 1994?
In 1994 and now.
So, what is the question?
No, sorry, the real question is how were your feelings in front of the possibility that all you have brought with you in all of your years were taken off and wasn't your again?
It's funny you asked that question, because when I was arrested in 1994, my main focus was on my collection. And I was thinking about all the things that I had collected for years and all the bones and all the things, and I knew that the police would take them. So it made me even more sad than the fact of being arrested. And later on, I tried with my lawyer to have some things given back to me because they were not used during the trial, but it was too late. But I managed to get books, I managed to get VHS tapes, and a few things that were in my apartment. This I got back, but of course they wouldn't never give me back the bones or the skulls or the things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I was curious in your period, obviously after all you passed through jail and all the things linked to that during that period and before. But in your new life, it also happened that you tried to help some kids with homicidal impulses who contacted you. Obviously, without naming their names, can you tell us the story of a person that you helped and another that you didn't help, so he killed someone? What were your feelings in the two opposite cases?
So when there was a there was this guy in Sweden who contacted me, and on MSN at the time, and he asked me plenty of questions about what I had done and what etc. Usually, I don't really take the time for this, but I don't know why this day I spent 1 hour talking to him on MSN and telling him, yeah, no, it's not worth doing it, blah blah blah. And like 1 or 2 weeks after, I was contacted by a journalist in Sweden, and he said, yeah, did you know that this guy who talked to you last week on MSN, he was arrested for a double murder? I was like, what? And what's interesting is that the police did not even try to contact me. It was journalists who actually got access to his internet history and the things he did. So, but he was determined insane, and I've heard that he got out of the hospital recently, but I have no contact with him anymore. I'm not interested.
But I think that you really felt bad because you talked with this person, and we see that you are a person that wants to talk about it. So I think that I don't want to say that you suffered, because I can't say that because I wasn't in you. But if I think at myself, if that happened to me, I think that I'll feel very sad, because I repeat, you look really like a person that wants to help others to understand this kind of situation. So
the thing is, I have a pessimist view on this. People, they ask me for help, but if they want to do it, I know that even if I say something, they will not listen. Sometimes they listen, and sometimes they really feel good about talking with me because they cannot talk to anybody else. So I'm like a confidant, or like a priest, a confessional priest, or I don't know. But the Pope of serial killers. But I know for a fact that if I had talked to someone else, like when I was at their age, who was older and who told me, no, don't do this because of this and that, I would have said, yes, but I would have done it anyway. So, well, when you have a personality like this and you are stubborn and sometimes I know that they also want to talk to me because they want to have some kind of bond.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if I said, no, don't do this. It's just the fact that they talk to me, for them is like, wow, cool. And but they're still in their mentality, mindset. So whatever I say, it won't change. But I sometimes I have good interactions with people who have feelings like that, and so far they haven't done anything, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nico.
Well, Nico, you have many friends today.
Mm-hmm.
Can a person who wants to become your friend trust you, or should be afraid of you?
The question is, can I trust people? That's the real question, because I don't trust anybody. And that's the real question. This is why when you say that many people want to be friends with me, no, I don't have many friends. I can count my friends on 5 fingers, not less, 4 fingers. But I have many people who try to approach me and who try to have some kind of, special relation, etc., because they think it's cool or whatever. But I'm extremely difficult to approach, extremely. And for me, it's all a matter of trust. Can I trust this person? Because I've been betrayed so many times in my life by people who claim to be friends and who weren't, because they just wanted to be friends with a crime celebrity, for them it's cool or whatever. But no, that's the real question. Can I trust people? And I don't think I can. I don't trust people.
Can I become your friend?
It starts very bad if you ask this question. It can come, but with time. But when somebody I don't know comes to me, can I be your friend? Usually I'm like,
Okay.
not now. We'll see later.
Okay.
I'm honest with you. It's my personality. I cannot. There's people with who I could have a great feeling, etc., but not to talk to them for 5 months or 10 months or 10 years. And it's like that. It's my personality, and that's how I work. Yeah.
Well, okay, perfect. Another question. Our channel was always been interested in the monster of Florence. Do
Oh
you
yeah.
know the story of this serial killer?
Yes. Well, next week I'm going to Florence again,
Oh,
and I will visit all the murder sites and the graveyard where Pacciani and Vanni were and
Lotti.
inhumed. Now they are exhumed and they're in a common ossuary, but they used to be there. And I will go to all the murder sites, and we try to go to Pacciani's house, and I'm doing this with an American YouTube channel that's really popular in the US. They have 1 million subscribers. So we're doing this very big documentary on the monster of Florence story, which is not well known in the US. It's a little known, but not well known. But there is a Netflix series coming soon, so the interest will rise up. And yeah, I know. Yeah.
sorry, I've done this because we are a large part of people that don't believe that Pacciani, Vanni, and Lotti were.
I don't believe it too. I don't believe it too. But I do believe that they have a part in the story.
Oh, this is really interesting to know your opinion about this.
For me, okay, from my perspective, the way the murders were done, first, for me, it's not one person. Not one person. But what can happen is that there is one person behind all the stories. So one person above who says, okay, do this, maybe take photos, bring me this. Maybe Vanni, maybe Pacciani were part of one murder, 2 murders, I don't know.
Okay, so you believe in the theory of levels?
Maybe, but
maybe, okay. You think that it's possible?
It might be possible, but the evidence against Pacciani is so small and so circumstantial. It's stupid. So why Pacciani? Was he framed? Was he? It's easy because he was a murderer. So it's easy. You take a guy in the countryside, a murderer. Yeah, he draws these weird the designs of women with a shotgun, etc. And it's inspired by Botticelli. And no, all this is for me is bullshit. But I've already been to the murder sites, and I've studied the surroundings. For me, the personality of the person who did this is more or less the same personality as the Zodiac or the personality of Son of Sam. So it's a guy who studies couples, a voyeur. He follows them, sees them in the car. When he killed the 2 guys, he thought that one of the guys was a girl. So there's this interest in punishing them. It's what the Americans call an incel. It's a guy who is frustrated by couples who have sexual intimacy. He wants the same. He cannot have it for several reasons. But what he wants to have is power. So he commits the murder. But what's interesting is the mutilations and the letters to the what's his name, the woman in charge of the prosecution. and all this circumstantial evidence. So I don't know. It's a mystery. I like mystery.
For sure. For sure.
Many absurd theories about the monster. One of the most absurd is the Zodiac killer and the monster is the same person.
No,
and I know
for us too, it's really difficult to link those two characters.
È caduto. Che fine ha fatto? Aiuto.
Che no, credo che abbia avuto un contrattempo. Vedi, abbiamo scoperto che va a fare con la serie americana il documentario tra un po'. Molto bene.
Potrebbe anche darsi che gli squillasse il telefono perché probabilmente è successo questo. Vediamo se parla.
Vedi, era una domanda alla quale non sapevamo come avrebbe risposto e ci ha completamente spiazzato.
Beh, la possibilità era no, era difficile, visto che è un appassionato. Dai, che mancano le ultime domande, ci sono le ultime due, ci siamo persi adesso. Dai. Comunque non ha trascritto le sue risposte.
Ma guarda, abbandonato.
Ha lasciato la riunione, vabbè, vediamo se rientra.
Vabbè, tanto a parte che noi la tagliamo poi se è questo pezzo, no?
Certo, ma sai perché? Perché evidentemente lui non ha collegato il microfono della cuffia e continuava a registrare dal dispositivo e il dispositivo percepiva solo poche parole. Quindi avrebbe dovuto impostare probabilmente l'audio dalla cuffia, dal microfono della cuffia, va bene. Perché per il resto i nostri vanno tranquillamente.
No, a parte... Oh, eccolo.
Welcome.
Here you are.
Welcome. Okay? Are you okay, Nico?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I had a disconnection.
Okay.
So sorry, Nico. This was very interesting. You were telling us that you see that it's difficult that the Zodiac and the Monster of Florence are the same person.
I cannot. Hold on. I cannot hear you.
Okay.
Can you talk?
Can you hear us now? We're waiting. We're waiting that you can hear us.
Hold on. I still cannot hear you. I'm trying again.
Speak.
Attendiamo qualche istante con la speranza di risolvere i problemi tecnici.
Technical problems are always technical problems. So what do we have to say?
Hold on. It's a problem with the wire.
Okay.
It happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so you now hear us. Do you hear us now?
I have to try something different.
Connection resist. We have another couple of of questions.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, don't worry.
Technical problem.
Don't worry.
We are on internet. We are not on television, so
it's
it
good.
happens.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, now it's good.
We were saying we were very. The last thing you were saying was that for you it's difficult that Zodiac and Monster of Florence are the same person, and you were talking about this.
Yeah, but what I like is the theory itself, because when you take a story like that, it becomes mythical. So there's lots of different stories and theories and people saying this, that, etc. So it's the mystique that interests me, the mystery. It's the same with Jack the Ripper. It's been more than nearly 150 years. Nobody knows. Yeah, they will say, yeah, we find DNA on this and that, but it's still a mystery.
Okay.
About the mutilation of Master of Florence, what do you think these fetishes were for? Did he collect them? Did he eat them?
Maybe he ate them. Yeah, maybe. I
Problem.
would think it was for more sexual use as a souvenir, but there's the possibility that he ate them also. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, about the, I studied this case from many years, and what you said, it's really interesting. It's I don't know if you have ever seen the murder photos of the victims. I don't know
Yes.
if you had this possibility. So,
Yeah.
about eating, I think you know well. I think it's quite difficult because breast it's a particular part of the body, so it's really difficult to eat. I never heard about serial killers that one that collection it yes that ate no the same for the under parts because it looks like it's a little more skin than real flesh, real.
I don't remember which one of the victim it was, but I remember one of the photos I saw. There was picarism, which is an activity
Yes.
where you use
It
like
was 1974,
yeah.
Stefania Pettini.
Exactly. And when you see the photo, and usually picarism is
Yes.
associated with a specific form of sadism. So there's definitely rage. It's rage. Usually there's a lot of rage. This is why, in my opinion, it's the work of frustration. You know, frustration led to this. For me, it's the main motor, the main fool. Yeah,
Yes.
frustration. So maybe not Pacciani, maybe not Vanni, but I don't think it's a niche intellectual. I don't think it's somebody extremely intelligent. I think it's somebody who was just acting on very primitive drives, very
Instinct.
yeah, just pure instinct and just pure rage that was expressing in the way that he was treating the females. Yeah.
Okay. So if you so interested in this case, when you come to Florence, if you want, you can contact us. And
Yeah.
as Vlad said, as Tiziana said at the beginning, our radio speaks about this case. It's almost 15 years, and we had as in our lives we had a lot of experts. We had a lot of people that. So if you need something or just to understand better some things, we are completely disposition for you.
It would be my pleasure. It would be if you are willing to be interviewed for this documentary. It's a YouTube channel called The Paranormal Files. He has 1 million subscribers, and we want to show the case, but with a more serious perspective. The other case we will talk about is Bestie di Satana. So we're going to Milan and we're going to the I Boschi di Satana with the grave, etc. So we're doing this, and they have paranormal because that's their channel. They have paranormal things. How do you call that? Is to measure the paranormal activity.
Yes. I don't remember the word, but I understand.
Yeah. So this is their thing, but for me, my perspective is more of a crime,
of course,
a crime expert, and to explain the case with the most serious theories and the most serious. So yeah, I would definitely be interested in interviewing you. We will be in Florence this weekend.
Oh,
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, very good. I repeat, if when you are there, if you want to contact our Tiziana, because Tiziana is in Sicily, I am in Rome, but our master chief, our Daniele Bronzi, that is the chief of the radio, and we love him because it's
we are going to Rome on Monday and next Monday and Tuesday.
So maybe we could see that.
Yeah. If you want to be interviewed for the thing, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very last thing about Monster of Florence. So if you are so interested, I have to say that this September I will present to people my new theory because I made some different studies and I found some connection, some links to a horrible past story that happened in the 60 years. And it has some of the main characters of the story, and I found profound links. So I made a big study, and this past February I brought my study to Procura di Firenze, to the investigators. So I know that it's difficult that they will read it or take it seriously, because for Italian justice the case is closed. But I think that I've done my work as a citizen. I think that it's a possibility. And the first thing I said after all the studies I've done, making a lot of questions even to psychologists and some of them, the one that real that has the paper, as we say in Italy. And they said that they didn't never think about it. And so if you want, when we will make the live on the radio, we will send you the link, so you can see. Thank you very much. Tiziana, we said a lot. We have really just to thank Nico, and I give you the last questions, the last thinkings before say to him hello.
The last questions for you, Nico, is this. This episode on our channel is called The Serial Killer of the Heart. Who is your favorite serial killer and why?
I am specialized with my books and writings on Russian serial killers. You have to know that there is more than 150 Russian serial killers that were repatriated, were studied in Russia until after the fall of the Soviet Union. There was a lot during the Soviet Union, but there is also a lot after the fall of the Soviet Union. The most famous, of course, is Chikatilo and Pichushkin, the chessboard killer. But there are many more interesting serial killers. And I just released a book called Chikatilo's Apprentice, which is studies the case of Sergei Golovkin. Sergei Golovkin is like the Russian John Wayne Gacy. It's not, of course, my favorite, because I don't have a favorite serial killers, but for me, it's the worst. If you take on the scale, like I told you, the scale of evil, and you take Dahmer on scale, let's say 40 of 100, and Gary Heineck on 80 of 100, Golovkin would be 99. It's the absolute worst case I have ever read of a serial killer, and what he did to his victims. They were all teenagers. That's beyond imagination. He tortured them for days and make them kill each other in his dungeon, and it's the worst case. So that would be one of the cases that has the most interest to me recently. Otherwise, I really am interested in the case of Jack Unterweger, who was an Austrian serial killer. He was first arrested for one murder. He killed a sex worker in the 70s. And then he wrote a book about his childhood, how he was mistreated by his mom, who was a sex worker, blah, blah, blah. And all the intellectuals in Vienna, they liked his style, but they didn't know that he didn't write the book. It was a woman who went to see him in prison who actually wrote her words on the book. So he pretended to be this very intellectual, very sophisticated man. He would appear on television all dressed in white with a red rose, very playboy, etc. And what people and journalists didn't know is as soon as he got out of prison, he started to kill again. And the journalist journal in Vienna sent him to Los Angeles.
We know.
Yeah, and he killed. He killed. He even went to the same hotel as Richard Ramirez, the Cecil Hotel. So this case,
we made a live about the Cecil Hotel,
okay.
and we know very good. We know, and we understand very well what you are talking about.
But I published his first book, which is called Purgatory, a journey into, I can't remember. Well, Purgatory it's called. And the book, from my perspective as a publisher, has absolutely no interest. It's the least interesting book ever written by a serial killer. It's all him about whining about his poor childhood in Vienna and how he was poor and how he went to school and all the kids made fun of him because he was poor, etc. But never in the book it is explained why he became a serial killer. It's one of the most, I still publish it and I still like this book because it's a unique document. It's a book that made a serial killer find freedom. Because of this book, the intellectuals, they petitioned for the government to release him, and they said, yes, this man is like us, he's a writer, and he deserves a second chance. But he used this book to be released and to kill again. So this book itself is a part of his story. This is why
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely,
it's an awful book. But I'm specialized in books written by serial killers. And for example, I can tell you, compared to the Gerard Schaeffer book, Killer Fiction, which is one of the best books ever written by a serial killer. If you want to understand the mind of a serial killer, you have to read this book. Or the book written by Donald Gaskins, Final Truth, which is one of the best also biographies written by a serial killer, where he explains all his actions in his own words. So it's not somebody who was extremely educated. So he talks like a brute, but he explains all his crimes and he goes into all the details. So it's really interesting.
For me, the serial killer I was always more fascinated was always Ed Kemper.
Yeah, Kemper is interesting.
Very fun. But there is something interesting you said, and it's linked to something else that I want to ask you about this evil classification. I read one about that put at the maximum level Arthur Shawcross. And I know if you don't know that.
I used to correspond with Arthur Shawcross.
With Vlad. We've done probably the longest live about him in Italy. We made 3 hours speaking about him.
Very long live.
Yeah.
Really long. But so about this, somewhere I read that you are going to speak with the daughter, if I understand well, and she's writing a book about him. So I wanted to ask you if you can say us something about that. Because we are very curious about this book she's going to write.
So the interesting thing is that she was raised without knowing that she was his daughter. So her mom never told her who her father was until she was 18. And when she was 18, she decided, okay, she knows another, she has the right to know. And they went together to visit him. And this is how she learned that she was his daughter. And they had a very short, because he died a few years after that. but they have a very short relationship. But still, she says that she appreciated him, she liked him, etc. But of course, she did not condone what he did when he was before he was arrested. But the book is about more about because she was also a drug addict for a long time, so a struggle with drugs and the fact that he gave her advice on that, on how to get away from drugs. The one dad who was the serial killer, and a few other things like that. So it's an interesting thing. I'm still in because when you're a publisher and you have somebody who is not a writer who has a good story and they write, but the style is a bit you have to rework the book a lot, not rewrite because you have to use their own words, but you have to make the book more readable. Otherwise people will be like, yeah, this book is shit, I'm not gonna read it. So there's a lot of work to be done with certain authors who are not used to writing, so there's more work to do with her than another author that's more at ease with his words. Yeah.
So Nico, for us, it was really an interesting talk. I hope it was the same for you.
Yeah, very good questions.
Of course, I think, as you understand, and as I said at the beginning, we really, our intent is really to understand you,
yeah.
Obviously, what happened in your life. And I hope the questions that we made to you were not bad. I hope you haven't felt bad.
I just did an interview with what's it called, an Italian true crime. Giallo Settimanale.
It was a Bugalal, I think.
Yeah, well, no. This week I did an interview for Giallo Settimanale.
Settimanale Giallo.
So the questions were a bit different.
I repeat, we really, our intention was, and I hope we did it successfully. It was to know you and know your experience, because as you said at the beginning, you are a person that give your experience to us. So the only thing we can say is really thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate this. And we keep in touch for Il Mostro.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So you are in Florence this weekend, in Rome.
And Rome in Monday and Tuesday.
No, I will do my best to see you in person. Really, it was really a pleasure to meet you and to talk with you. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, Nico, we thank you again and again and again. We will broadcast the interview during the live episode on next Friday on our channel, Florence International Radio. We'll dedicate to you.
Thank you.
I send you the link.
Yep.
You can see it, and I'm waiting for you in Sicily.
Yeah. Normally I should have gone to Sicily because they are going to Cefalo for a special investigation in the Abbey of Telema. But I couldn't make it to Sicily this time. I was in Sicily long years ago, but not this time, fortunately. But I will come back.
Grazie, Nico. Thank you, Simon, and see you soon.
See you soon.
Ciao. Thank you, Nico. Thank you very much.